They cursed you in secret, but God is about to bless you in public. They dug a pit for you, but they're about to watch you rise higher than they ever imagined. What they meant for evil, God is about to use for your elevation. This is the moment heaven flips the script. If you've ever been lied on, betrayed, underestimated, or attacked without cause, this message is for you. God is not blind to what you've been through, and He's not silent either. When people curse you, they forget something crucial. You belong to God. And today I'm here to tell you, God is about to reverse every curse and shame every enemy. When man curses, God can still speak blessing. No matter how loud the enemy shouts, no matter how convincing the accusations, God's voice carries eternal authority. People may judge you based on your past, on your mistakes, or even on lies. But God judges you based on His plan, His love, and His purpose for your life. The curse may come in the form of rejection, betrayal, false accusation, or even failure, but it is not the final word. God never consults your enemies before He blesses you. He does not ask for permission to elevate you. The enemy may try to label you, limit you, or define you, but God has already called you, chosen, set apart, and destined for greatness. The curse is not your identity, it's a deception. It's a smokescreen designed to shake your confidence and delay your destiny. But God doesn't deal in deception. He deals in revelation. And when God reveals who you really are, no curse can compete with the clarity of His calling on your life. What they said about you might be loud, but what God has spoken over you is eternal. His word is not bound by rumors, not limited by opposition. When God speaks, atmospheres shift, chains break, doors open, and curses collapse. His word brings life where there was death. It brings favor where there was shame. It brings restoration where there was ruin. You've got to stop giving power to the voices that didn't create you. People can curse you out of jealousy, out of misunderstanding, or out of bitterness. But their words are just noise in the courtroom of heaven. And in that courtroom, your advocate is the King of Kings. Your case has already been ruled in your favor. The enemy may bring accusations, but God declares redemption. He is the one who says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and that every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. That's not just poetic language. That's divine legal authority. When God declares you blessed, there's not a demon in hell or a hater on earth that can overturn it. Don't confuse the presence of a curse with the absence of a promise. The curse may show up first, but the promise always has the last word. You're not defined by the pit you were thrown into. You're defined by the palace you were destined for. And the process in between, that's just God showing every demon, every critic, and every naysayer that He alone determines your ending. So stand tall, lift your head, and remember this. Your story does not end with the gossip. It begins with His grace. The curse is temporary, the blessing is eternal. God's word over your life is irreversible. And because He has the final say, you are not cursed, you are called. God doesn't just undo what the enemy did. He reverses it in ways so complete, so divine, that no trace of the former shame can be found. He specializes in flipping the narrative so that what was meant to break you becomes the very thing that builds you. He takes what looked like an ending and transforms it into a beginning so powerful, only heaven could have written it. Man may throw stones of disgrace, but God builds monuments of grace with those same stones. The enemy thrives on confusion, but God brings clarity. The enemy speaks defeat, but God declares destiny. That's why when people look at your past and try to disqualify you, they're wasting their breath. Because God doesn't consult your past to decide your future. He reverses every demonic assignment and converts the weapons formed against you into tools for your testimony. When Joseph was thrown into the pit, it looked like the end. Sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned. Each chapter seemed darker than the last. But what man wrote in betrayal, God rewrote in blessing. Joseph didn't just survive. He was promoted to second in command over Egypt. What was the setup? The pit. What was the path? The prison. But what was the outcome? The palace. That's divine reversal. And Joseph said it himself, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. The evil wasn't ignored. It was reversed. The same hand of reversal showed up in Esther's life. She was an orphan, forgotten by society, raised in obscurity. But God saw her, God positioned her. And when the moment came to save a nation, the orphan became a queen. Haman, the enemy of her people, built gallows to destroy her uncle Mordecai. But in a divine twist only heaven could orchestrate, those same gallows became Haman's end. The trap the enemy set was reversed into his own downfall. God didn't just protect Esther, He exalted her. That's the kind of reversal only God can do. So don't fear when the enemy starts writing chapters in your life. Don't panic when it looks like you've lost ground. The pen may be in their hand temporarily, but the authorship belongs to God. He's the Alpha and the Omega. Not just the beginning and the end, but the authority over everything in between. Your pain isn't wasted. Your tears weren't unseen. Heaven has been tracking every injustice, and the scales are shifting. You're not stuck in the curse, you're being staged for a comeback. What was meant to bury you is about to bless you. What humiliated you will soon honor you. Your sorrow is scheduled to transform into strength. That's divine reversal. That's the signature of a God who never leaves His children in shame. He doesn't just restore the years the locust ate. He makes the years bow to your redemption. You may have been cursed, betrayed, lied on, and abandoned, but watch God turn it. Watch Him flip the script. Watch Him reverse every attack and make your enemies regret the day they ever targeted a child of God. God is so powerful that even your enemies end up working for your destiny. You must understand this deep truth. When you are walking in divine purpose, nothing, absolutely nothing, can block what God has already ordained. Not hatred, not betrayal, not sabotage, not lies. Your enemies may think they are setting you up for failure, but in the wisdom of God, they are setting you up for favor. The very ones who dig a ditch for you may unknowingly be laying the foundation of the platform you will stand on. The people who try to close the door on you are being used by heaven to drive you toward the door God has already opened. When you are chosen, opposition becomes fuel, not a wall. Judas didn't stop Jesus. He triggered the plan of redemption. The cross was not a surprise to Jesus. It was His assignment. Judas thought he was ending something, but he was simply initiating the greatest victory in history. Haman didn't destroy Mordecai. He became the instrument of his promotion. Haman built the gallows for Mordecai, and God flipped the narrative until the very trap Haman prepared for another became his own undoing. That's the kind of reversal God specializes in. That's how sovereign He is. He doesn't just cancel the plan of the enemy, He converts it into a tool for your advancement. So why are you afraid of your enemies? Why are you letting their gossip, their schemes, or their manipulation shake you? They don't even realize they are on divine payroll. They think they're tearing you down, but they're pushing you into the next level. They think they're exposing your weakness, but God is using them to reveal your strength. Just like Pharaoh's oppression prepared Israel for a miraculous exodus, just like Goliath's threats positioned David for promotion, your enemies are announcing your entrance into destiny. The louder they roar, the more they affirm that something great is on your life. You never see enemies fighting what has no purpose. The resistance is proof of your calling. God's sovereignty doesn't require your enemy's permission. He uses them whether they like it or not. They think they're in control, but they are just actors in a play that God wrote before the foundation of the world. They may try to detour your path, but God reroutes and accelerates it. Their plan might cause you pain, but it also positions you for power. The betrayal becomes the backdrop for the blessing. The storm becomes the stage for the supernatural. Don't waste energy hating who hurt you. Don't let bitterness distract you from breakthrough. Forgive them, not because they deserve it, but because their role in your life was necessary. They had to lie. They had to leave. They had to mock you. Because if they hadn't, you wouldn't have prayed like you did, grown like you did, or discovered who you really are. Your enemies are not in charge. God is. And if God is for you, who dare stand against you? The same people who mocked you when you were in the fire are going to have to stand back and watch as God brings you out without even the smell of smoke on your clothes. The ones who laughed when you were weeping, the ones who used your pain as their entertainment, the ones who told others you'd never recover, they are about to watch the hand of God lift you higher than they ever imagined possible. That's the kind of God you serve. He doesn't just heal you in private and send you on your way. No. He prepares a table in the presence of your enemies. Why? Because it's not about revenge, it's about vindication. It's about showing that when God marks someone, no lie can cancel it, no gossip can erase it, and no slander can rewrite it. When God restores, He doesn't do it in the shadows. He places you in the light, not to boast in yourself, but to glorify Him. You cried in silence, but He will reward you in the open. You suffered quietly, but your breakthrough will be loud. Public shame is being turned into public glory, not because you demanded it, but because you endured the process. You didn't curse those who cursed you. You didn't fight those who tried to drag you down. You stayed planted, and now God is about to put you on display. And not for vanity, not for applause, but so the world will see what happens when someone puts their full trust in the living God. He's going to make your testimony so undeniable, so evident, that even those who despised you will have to say, this can only be the work of God. And listen carefully, your enemies are not your audience by accident. God allowed them to witness your pain so they could also witness your promotion. He allowed them to hear the lies so they could hear the truth. He let them see you broken so they could watch you build you back stronger. God is not just writing a story, He's setting a stage. Because what they meant to use to bury you is going to be the very soil God uses to blossom your destiny. And when that happens, Don't let your heart become bitter. Don't use your platform to clap back. Use it to call others forward. Use it to give glory to the one who lifted you. That's the difference between man's idea of revenge and God's idea of justice. You're not going to win by putting others down. You're going to win by being raised up by the hand of the Almighty. So don't be discouraged if they're laughing now. Don't be shaken if they're mocking you today, because soon, very soon, God is going to flip the script. And when He does, your pain will become your praise. Your ridicule will become your reward. And your shame will be clothed in glory. Keep standing. Keep believing, because the same mouths that cursed you will soon declare, surely the Lord is with them. Don't fight dirty. Don't retaliate. Your job is to stay faithful, stay planted, stay aligned. God doesn't need your fists. He needs your faith. In a world where clapping back is celebrated and revenge is marketed as strength, God calls His people to a higher code. You don't win by stooping to the level of those who try to drag you down. You win by rising above, by refusing to let the darkness around you infiltrate the light within you. The enemy's goal is not just to harm you. It's to distract you, to lure you out of alignment with your purpose by baiting you into battles that were never yours to fight. But hear this clearly. When you stay in position, you give God permission to step in. You're not called to wrestle with flesh and blood. You're called to stand firm while heaven handles what your hands never could. Sometimes silence is the most powerful response. Sometimes stillness is the greatest show of strength. Staying in position doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It means you trust God's timing more than your emotions. It means you believe that your destiny is too great to risk being compromised by temporary retaliation. The trap of revenge is that it never stops where you think it will. It pulls you deeper. It poisons your heart. It clutters your spirit. And you can't carry a crown with contaminated hands. You were not born to be reactionary. You were born to be revolutionary. You were created to shift atmospheres, not chase approval. And the only way to do that is to stay rooted in the mission God gave you. When Nehemiah was rebuilding the wall and his enemies called him down to distract him, he said, I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. That is the posture you must take. Every time someone lies on you, stay in position. Every time someone disrespects you, stay in position. Every time the enemy whispers, fight him your way, remind yourself, I don't move unless God says move. The assignment is bigger than your feeling. And the promotion is waiting for those who persevere through the storm without abandoning their post. God honors consistency. God rewards stability. Anyone can shout when it's easy, but only the mature can stand when it's hard. That's why the crown only comes to those who refuse to quit. The blessing isn't just in the arrival, it's in the endurance. The enemy wants you out of position because he knows what's coming if you stay there. He knows favor is scheduled to fall in that spot. He knows breakthrough is bound to that level of obedience. So don't flinch, don't fold, don't faint. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. You won't have to lift a finger. He's already lifting the standard. The victory isn't coming because of your fight. It's coming because of your faith. Everything the enemy used to destroy you, God will use to develop you. That betrayal birthed your boldness. That attack activated your anointing. You were never buried, you were planted. And now it's your season to grow, to rise, and to shine. You will resurrect you, he resurrects you. So the womb of your next level, God doesn't just rescue you, he resurrects you. You see, the mistake of the enemy was thinking that opposition would stop you. What he didn't realize was that every ounce of pressure he placed on you only made you stronger. The dirt that was thrown on your name, the rumors whispered behind your back, the lies that spread like wildfire, none of it buried you. It covered you long enough for God to cultivate you. Because when a seed is planted, it doesn't look alive, but it's doing its deepest work under the surface. You were never forgotten. You were being formed. The rejection, the heartbreak, the abandonment, they weren't the end, they were the beginning. The enemy thought it was your grave, but God called it your garden. It's the pain that pushed you to pray. It's the betrayal that birthed your discernment. It's the hardship that trained your character. So don't waste your wilderness by complaining. Don't despise the dirt that's surrounding you. Because the same God who allowed you to be hidden is the same God who's about to unveil you. He's not finished. He's preparing to bring you into a season where the fruit of your pain will feed others, where the tears you cried in secret will water the harvest you reap in public. That struggle wasn't meant to kill you. It was meant to qualify you. You didn't go through hell just to survive. You went through to come out with power. The truth is, God allows the enemy to try because he knows what he's placed inside of you. He knows that greater is he that is within you than anything that comes against you. And when you finally rise from the dirt, when you finally bloom from the battle, no one will be able to deny the hand of God on your life. That's why the devil fought you so hard. That's why he tried to silence your voice, distract your mind, and drain your strength. But you're still standing. You're still here. And that alone is proof that purpose is alive in you. You are not broken. You're becoming. You are not forsaken. You're being formed. So lift your eyes and fix your focus. What once looked like the end is actually the turning point. What once felt like abandonment was actually alignment. God didn't bring you this far to leave you in the dirt. He brought you here to launch you into destiny. You are not a victim of what happened. You are the vessel God is using to reveal his glory. And what tried to bury you? It's about to testify that you were born for this. Every curse is being reversed. Every tongue that rose against you in judgment, God is condemning it. Every setback is becoming a setup. You're not going down, you're going up. So lift your head, square your shoulders, and walk in confidence. God is turning the tables, and your enemies, they're about to watch you win.